For 2 years, I worked 3 jobs while my husband recovered from his accident. I'd wake at 4 a.m, drag myself to the hospital for my morning shift as a medical billing specialist, then rush to the library for afternoon admin work, and finally spent evenings waiting tables. Meanwhile, Nicholas lounged on our leather sectional, wrapped in the expensive weighted blanket his mother bought him, watching Netflix shows I couldn't spare a minute to discuss. My name is Ria, and I used to believe in fairy tales. Now I believe in spreadsheets, security cameras, and the power of paying attention. Darling, the chicken's a bit dry again, Maeve announced at dinner, dabbing her mouth with our linen napkin. When Nicola was growing up, I always made sure to brine— Mum, leave her alone, Nicholas interrupted, wincing as he shifted position. She's doing her best. I stabbed my fork into my salad, focusing on the crunch of lettuce rather than the familiar dance of their routine. Maeve would criticise. Nicholas would defend me just enough to seem kind, and I'd smile gratefully at my defender. The same performance night after night. I just worry, Maeve sighed, reaching over to pat Nicholas's hand. My prince deserves the best care while he recovers. I watched him grab the water pitcher with his bad arm, the one that supposedly couldn't lift more than a pound according to his disability claim. The pitcher was full. Those things weigh at least 2 pounds. How's the physical therapy going? I asked casually, noting how quickly he set the pitcher down. Oh, baby steps. He gave me that smile, the one that used to make my heart flutter. Doctor. Harrison says it could be another year before I'm ready for work. Dr. Harrison. Right. The appointment Nicholas claimed to attend last Thursday while I covered an extra shift to pay for his prescription refill. The refill that never showed up on our pharmacy app. Speaking of work, Maeve chimed in. Ria, dear, the bathroom needs attention. I noticed the grout is getting quite dingy. I bit back my response. The bathroom I cleaned yesterday, after my 12-hour shift. The bathroom I scrubbed while Nicholas complained about the cleaning products aggravating his condition. My phone buzzed. A notification from our shared Amazon account. I clicked it under the table. Order delivered. Men's waterproof. Hiking boots, size 11. Delivery instructions. Leave at side door. I glanced at Nicholas's feet, currently propped up on his therapy pillow, size 11. Everything okay? Nicholas asked, noticing my expression. Just work, I said, forcing a smile. The hospital's implementing a new billing system. You work too much, Maeve declared, helping herself to more wine. My wine, the bottle I'd been saving for my birthday next week. It's not healthy. Nicholas needs you here. I know, I whispered, watching the red liquid swirl in her glass. Family first, right? Nicholas reached over and squeezed my hand. You're amazing, babe. I don't know what I'd do without you. I squeezed back, remembering how those hands once held me like I was precious. How they danced me around our kitchen when we first moved in, before the accident, before his mother moved in to help, before I became nothing but a wallet with a pulse. I should start the dishes, I said, standing up. My phone buzzed again. Schedule change alert. Evening shift cancelled due to slow night. I stared at the message, an unfamiliar feeling rising in my chest. For the first time in months, I had a free evening. I could surprise Nicholas with takeout from that Thai place he loved, maybe try to reconnect. Don't forget to soak the pans properly this time, Maeve called after me. Last night they still had residue. I grabbed my keys and purse. Actually, I need to run to the pharmacy. Nicholas's prescription should be ready. But you just picked up my pills yesterday, he said, confusion crossing his face. I paused at the door. Did I? The silence lasted 2 seconds too long. Of course you did, darling, Maeve jumped in. Remember, the blue pills? I nodded slowly, watching Nicholas's face. Right, the blue pills. My mistake. I'll be back soon. I closed the door behind me, pulled out my phone, and opened my banking app. Time to check exactly how many prescriptions I'd been paying for and where they were really going. The Thai restaurant was quiet when I walked in, just a few customers lingering over their pad thai. I ordered Nicholas's favourite, green curry with extra bamboo shoots, and added spring rolls because I was trying to be a good wife. Even after everything, some habits die hard. 20 minutes, the hostess said with a smile. I sat in my car, scrolling through our pharmacy records. 3 months of missing prescriptions, each one charged to my account. Each one supposedly picked up, but never making it to our medicine cabinet. I was so focused on the screen, I almost missed the text from Maeve. Don't hurry back. Nicholas is having a rough evening. The pain is bad. I stared at those words, remembering his easy movements at dinner, the water pitcher, the hiking boots. 2 years of watching him wince and groan while I worked myself to exhaustion. The food came faster than expected. I decided to surprise them anyway. Music spilled from our house as I pulled up, not the usual TV noise, but actual music, something upbeat, Latin. I killed the engine and sat there, container of curry growing cold in my lap. Through the living room window, I saw movement. At first, I thought I was hallucinating from exhaustion, but no. Nicholas was dancing. Not just swaying or shuffling, but full-on salsa dancing with his mother, twirling her around the room like his spine wasn't supposedly held together with medical mesh and prayers. They were laughing, drinking. I recognised the distinctive shape of my birthday wine bottle. My hands shook as I pulled out my phone and started recording. Nicholas dipped Maeve dramatically, his movements fluid and strong. No wincing, no tremors. No sign of the man who needed help getting into the shower this morning. "To the cruise!" Maeve's voice carried through the slightly open window. She raised her glass, my crystal glasses, the wedding gift from my sister. 3 weeks of paradise. Nicholas grinned, executing another perfect turn. Thank God for disability payments and my devoted little nurse. They clinked glasses. My birthday wine splashed onto my carpet. Speaking of your nurse, Maeve said, I saw her checking her phone at dinner. We need to be more careful with the prescriptions. She's not as stupid as she looks. Please, Nicholas scoffed. She's too busy working to notice anything. Besides, who's she going to tell? That sister she never talks to. True, Maeve laughed. Remember when Lexi tried to warn her about you before the wedding? He's using you, Rhea. So dramatic. They mimicked my sister's voice, dissolving into giggles. I kept recording. I almost feel bad, Nicholas said, but his grin suggested otherwise. She really thinks I'm going to pay her back someday. You're giving her a roof over her head, aren't you? More than she deserves. Did you see how she served the chicken tonight? My son deserves a prince, I know, Mum. Nicholas spun her again. Don't worry. 2 more years of disability and we'll have enough saved to... He stopped mid-sentence. Maeve had spotted me through the window. Our eyes met. Her lips curved into a sneer as she raised my wine glass in a mock toast. Thanks for the vacation money, dear. I didn't give them the satisfaction of a reaction. Instead, I pressed stop on the recording and opened my email. The video uploaded to my personal account first. Then I scrolled to a contact I'd saved months ago but never dared use. KM. Fed. My finger hovered over the send button. In the window, Nicholas and Maeve had stopped dancing. They were watching me, their faces a mixture of challenge and calculation, daring me to do something, believing I wouldn't. I hit send. Then I picked up the Thai food and walked to my car, their voices rising behind me as the front door opened. Rhea? Honey, I can explain. Rhea, don't be dramatic. I started the engine, drowning them out. As I pulled away, I caught a glimpse of Nicholas in my rearview mirror. He was standing straight and tall, no trace of a limp, no sign of pain. The curry ended up on Emiliano's desk at the hospital the next morning. He'd been working the night shift again, and good food shouldn't go to waste. Neither should evidence. Insurance fraud is a federal offence, Talia Warren said, spreading documents across her mahogany desk. And based on what you've shown me, they've left quite a paper trail. I handed her another folder. 2 years of receipts, every prescription they claimed but never used. Every medical appointment they billed but never attended. Bank statements showing transfers to Maeve's account labelled as medical expenses. Talia raised an eyebrow. You've been documenting everything? I'm a medical billing specialist. Documentation is what I do. She nodded approvingly, then pulled out a legal pad. The video alone is damning, but combined with these financial records... She paused, tapping her pen. They won't just lose the disability payments. They could face serious jail time. A knock at her office door made us both look up. My heart stopped. Lexi. My sister stood in the doorway, looking exactly as she had 3 years ago when she'd tried to stop my wedding. Same determined set to her jaw, same protective fire in her eyes. You called her? I asked Talia. You did, Talia corrected. Last night. You left me a voicemail asking me to contact her. I vaguely remembered making that call after leaving the house, running on anger and adrenaline. I was emotional. You were right, Lexi said, walking in and sitting beside me. I've been waiting 3 years to hear you say that. I don't need an I told you so right now. Good, because I'm not here to give you one. She reached for my hand. I'm here to help you burn it all down. Talia cleared her throat. Speaking of burning things down, we need to discuss strategy. Nicholas and Maeve will retaliate when served with divorce papers. People like them always do. Let them, I said, squeezing Lexi's hand. I've got copies of everything, multiple copies. Including that video of Nicholas's dance party? Lexi asked. Because that needs to be everywhere. No, Talia cut in sharply. That video goes nowhere except to the federal investigator. We play this smart, not angry. I pulled out my phone, showing them the email confirmation from KM, Fed. Already done? Good, Talia said. Now about the house? It's in my name, I interrupted. I bought it with my inheritance from Dad. Nicholas isn't on the deed, Lexi whistled. Look who learned to protect her assets. Too late, but yes, I turned to Talia. How do we do this? She pulled out another stack of papers. We file for divorce, citing fraud and financial abuse. Meanwhile, the federal investigation will... The office door burst open. Nicholas and Maeve stood there, clutching papers, the divorce filing they'd just been served. Really, Rhea? Nicholas's voice dripped with condescension. A divorce? After everything I've been through? Everything you've been through? Lexi stood up, but I pulled her back down. Maeve stepped forward, waving the papers. We'll fight this, and win. Who do you think they'll believe? A bitter, overworked woman making wild accusations, or a disabled man and his devoted mother? I picked up my phone, pulled up the video, and pressed play. The sound of Latin music filled the office, followed by their own voices discussing the cruise, the fraud, their plans. Nicholas's face went white. Maeve's turned red. I stopped the video. Would you like to see what else I have? You little... Maeve started forward, but Nicholas grabbed her arm. You have no idea what you've done, she hissed. Actually, Talia said, standing, I think she knows exactly what she's done. Now, unless you'd like me to call security... This isn't over, Nicholas said, but his voice shook slightly. You're right, I agreed. The federal investigator I sent that video to last night, he's just getting started. They backed out of the office, Maeve still spitting threats, Nicholas uncharacteristically quiet. After they left, Lexi turned to me. I'm proud of you, sis, but remember something. Revenge can feed you, but it won't warm you. I'm not looking for warmth, I said, watching Talia organise the evidence files. I'm looking for justice. And you'll get it, Talia assured me. But Lexi's right. This is going to get ugly before it gets better. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Ms. Ferguson, this is Cameron Little, Federal Fraud Investigation Unit. We need to talk. There's something about your husband's past you should know. I showed the text to Talia and Lexi. Well, Lexi said grimly, looks like Nicholas has been dancing this dance before. Ms. Ferguson, we need to discuss your conduct at work, my supervisor said, sliding a folder across her desk. We've received some concerning screenshots. I opened the folder and almost laughed. Almost. The texts were clearly photoshopped. Messages supposedly from me, bragging about stealing medications, threatening Nicholas, planning to harm Maeve. These aren't real, I said. Your husband's mother sent these directly to HR. She's very worried about your mental state. Of course she was. I've been expecting their retaliation, but not this quickly. I can prove these are fake. Nevertheless, we have to suspend you pending investigation. Hospital policy. One income gone. Just as they planned. Outside the hospital, I called Talia. "They're moving fast," she said when I explained. "But sloppy. Photoshop texts. Amateur hour. Forward everything to me." My phone buzzed with another text. Lexi. 911. Maeve just called me. Playing concerned mother-in-law. Says you're having a breakdown. I typed back. "Let me guess. She's worried about my obsession with Nicholas's disability." Bingo. "Also says you're stealing meds." I told her to shove it. Another call came in. The library. Same story. Different accusations. 2 incomes down. "Don't panic," Talia said when I updated her. "I'm sending cease and desist letters now, and look at your email." I did. She'd forwarded bank records showing every unauthorised transfer from my accounts to Maeve's over the past 2 years. Each one labelled as medical expenses. "That's just the start," Talia said. "Your sister found something interesting about Nicholas." "What?" "High-end gym membership. Started 5 months ago. Personal trainer and everything." I remembered the hiking boots, the dancing, the water pitcher. "Send it all to Cameron," I said. "Already did. He wants to meet, says it's important." The restaurant where we met was quiet, tucked away from the usual lunch crowds. Cameron Little looked exactly like a federal investigator should. Sharp suit, sharper eyes, and an expression that said he'd seen this all before. "Your husband's quite the actor," he said, sliding a coffee toward me, "but not very original." "What do you mean?" "This isn't his first performance." He opened a laptop, turned it toward me. "Meet Noelle Griffin, Nicholas's girlfriend from 8 years ago." The woman in the photo looked happy, young, in love. What happened to her? She supported Nicholas through another mysterious disability claim, worked multiple jobs. Sound familiar? My hands tightened around the coffee cup. Where is she now? That's the concerning part. Cameron leaned forward. After she confronted him about the fraud, she disappeared, left the country. Her family hasn't heard from her since. "Are you saying—" "I'm saying be careful. Your husband didn't just lie to you. We suspect this is a pattern. And when cornered, people like him can become dangerous." My phone buzzed. An email from my bank. Large withdrawal alert. "They're draining the accounts," I said. "We expected that," Cameron replied. "But what they don't know is we've already flagged all suspicious transactions. They're building our case for us." Another text came through, from Emiliano at the hospital. "Hey, weird question. Did you know your husband applied for a job here 3 months ago? Full physical required." "He passed with flying colours," I showed Cameron the text. "Perfect," he said. "One more nail in the coffin, but Ria—" He paused, his expression grave. "You need to know something. This case just went federal. We're not just looking at disability fraud anymore. The pattern suggests organised financial crimes across state lines." "What does that mean?" "It means when this breaks, it's going to break big. Are you ready for that?" Before I could answer, another text came through. "Unknown number. Back off now, or your brake lines might need checking. Accidents happen." I showed Cameron the threat. "That's it," he said, standing. "We're moving up the timeline. Get out of that house tonight. Don't tell them where you're going." He gathered his files. "And Ria? Check your car before you drive anywhere. They're getting desperate." I looked down at my phone as another bank alert came through. They were emptying every account they could access. Let them, I thought. The real damage was already done. And it wasn't to my bank balance. Lexi's apartment was small but secure, with cameras at every entrance. I sat at her kitchen counter, staring at my laptop screen, reading Noelle's old social media posts from 8 years ago. "Just found out the truth," one post read. "Everything was a lie. I can't believe I was so blind." It was her last post before disappearing. "Found her," Lexi announced, bursting in with her iPad. "She's in New Zealand now. Changed her name to Hannah, but it's definitely her." I scrolled through the profile Lexi had discovered. Noelle, now Hannah, looked happy, peaceful, far away from Nicholas. "Should we contact her?" Lexi asked. "Already did." I showed her the message I'd sent. "I'm Nicholas's current wife. Or I was. I know about the disability scam. I'm working with federal investigators. If you're willing to talk, please reach out. My phone pinged. A response. "I've been waiting for this message for 8 years," Noelle wrote. "I'm sorry. I didn't have the strength to fight back then. I hope you do." "Ask her what happened," Lexi urged. Before I could, another message came through. "Be careful." When I confronted him, things got scary. "Maeve's worse than he is. They'll try to destroy you first, then play victim when that fails." "Already starting," I typed back. "They're draining accounts, sending threats. Get out." "Now!" Noelle's response was immediate. "I lost everything because I stayed too long. They'll make it look like you're crazy, then..." A loud knock at the door cut through the tension. Lexi checked her security camera feed. "It's a courier," she said. The delivery was a thick legal envelope. Inside, a lawsuit naming me as defendant. Maeve was suing me for emotional distress, claiming I'd been harassing her, threatening her, making her fear for her safety. "She's trying to get a restraining order," Talia said when I called her, "to force you out of your own house." "Can she do that?" "She can try, but we have something better." Talia's voice held a hint of satisfaction. "Remember those bank transfers labelled as medical expenses? I traced them. Want to guess where that money really went?" "The cruise?" "Better. Maeve's been paying off her mortgage with your money. We have proof of direct transfers from your emergency savings to her bank, then straight to her mortgage company." "My emergency savings? The account I'd been building since college. The one Nicholas swore he'd never touch." "There's more," Talia continued. "Those prescriptions they claimed but never picked up, they were selling them. We found the buyers." My phone buzzed again. "Noelle, whatever you do, don't confront them alone. That was my mistake." "What happened when you did?" I asked. "I woke up in my car at a rest stop 2 states away. All my accounts emptied. A suicide note in my handwriting that I never wrote. They're good at making things look like someone else's fault." Lexi read the message over my shoulder. "Holy shit!" Another knock at the door. This time the security feed showed Cameron. "We need to move fast," he said as soon as we let him in. "Nicholas just bought plane tickets. International." The cruise was a cover, I realised. "Exactly." "They're planning to run, but first..." He handed me a folder. "Look what we found in their storage unit." Inside were documents, dozens of them, other women's names, other disability claims, bank accounts, a pattern stretching back 10 years. "Nicholas and Maeve have done this before," Cameron explained. "Multiple times. They find a target, set up the scam, drain them dry, then disappear. But this time..." He smiled grimly. "This time they got sloppy." "Got too comfortable?" "Because I lasted longer than the others," I said. "Exactly. You outlasted their usual timeline, made them cocky. And now..." My phone lit up with a news alert. "Local woman claims systematic fraud by disabled husband." "They're trying to get ahead of the story," Talia said, calling again. "Playing victim to the press, but they don't know what's coming." "What is coming?" I asked. "Federal charges," Cameron answered. "Tomorrow morning." First thing. Noelle sent another message. "Whatever happens, remember, you're stronger than I was. Make them pay." I looked at the evidence spread across Lexi's counter. A decade of lies, fraud, and stolen lives. "Oh, they'll pay," I said, "with interest." "The brake lines were definitely tampered with," the mechanic said, rolling out from under my car. "Someone knew what they were doing, too. Would have looked like an accident." Cameron photographed everything while Talia took notes. I stood there, thinking about how I'd almost driven home last night. "We've got them on attempted vehicular manslaughter now," Cameron said, "along with everything else." My phone buzzed. Emiliano from the hospital. "Hey, you need to see this. Nicholas is here demanding your personnel file. Says he's your medical proxy." "He's getting desperate," Talia observed when I showed her. "Gathering ammunition." "Let him," I said. "The hospital has cameras everywhere." Sure enough, 10 minutes later, security footage showed Nicholas walking briskly through the hospital corridors. No limp, no cane, no sign of disability. Straight to HR, where he threw a tantrum when denied access to my files. "Add workplace harassment to the list," Talia said, forwarding the footage to Cameron. My phone rang. Unknown number. "Is this Ria?" a woman's voice asked. I'm Nicholas's ex from 12 years ago. I saw the news. There are others like me. We want to help. They came forward one by one throughout the day. 5 women, 5 similar stories. Nicholas, the charming man with a mysterious injury. Maeve, the controlling mother who moved in to help. Bank accounts drained, lives shattered, threats made. We're building a RICO case, Cameron explained during our emergency meeting. Organised criminal enterprise across state lines. They're still in my house, I reminded him. Not for long. We're serving the warrants tomorrow, but tonight... He stopped as my phone lit up with alerts. Emergency notifications from my home security system. Motion detected. Multiple cameras. We pulled up the feed on Talia's laptop. Nicholas and Maeve were packing, frantically throwing things into suitcases. Those are my suitcases, I noted. And that's my jewellery box. Got you, you bastards, Lexi muttered, recording everything on her phone. Then we saw something that made everyone freeze. Maeve opened my gun safe, the one containing Dad's old service weapon. That's not good, Cameron said, already dialing. How did they get the combination? They didn't, I replied, watching Maeve struggle with the lock, but they're getting desperate. Suddenly, Nicholas looked directly at the camera and smiled. He mouthed something. Thanks for the memories, Lexi read his lips. Creepy much? Wait, I said, noticing something. That painting behind him, it's crooked. It wasn't crooked this morning. Cameron zoomed in. Behind the painting was my wall safe, now standing open. What was in there? Talia asked. My passport, some cash, and... My stomach dropped. All my backup evidence files. On screen, Nicholas held up a thick folder and lighter. Another smile at the camera. He doesn't know about the cloud backups, Lexi reminded me. Or the federal evidence, Cameron added, still on his phone. Units are en route. Don't worry, they won't get far. But something felt wrong. Nicholas and Maeve were too calm, too methodical. This wasn't a panicked escape attempt. Check the garage camera, I suggested. The feed switched. A rental van sat in my driveway, already loaded. They'd been planning this, Talia realised. Look! Lexi pointed at the screen. Maeve was placing something on the kitchen counter. An envelope. The security system pinged again. Back door opening, front door opening, garage door opening. We watched them drive away in the van, Nicholas behind the wheel, moving smoothly without any sign of his supposed disability. Should we follow them? Lexi asked. No need, Cameron said. Every airport, bus station and border crossing has their photos. Besides, he showed us his tablet. That rental van has GPS tracking. What was in the envelope? I wondered. 20 minutes later we found out. The envelope contained a single sheet of paper, a forged confession in my handwriting, admitting to insurance fraud and drug theft. Below it, a receipt for a one-way ticket to Mexico in my name. They're trying to frame you, Talia said unnecessarily. Let them try. I pulled out my phone and dialed Noelle's number. Time to show them what real evidence looks like. Cameron's phone buzzed. He smiled grimly. The van just turned onto the interstate. Perfect. He looked at me. Ready to end this? More than ready, I said, watching the GPS dot move across his screen. Let's go fishing. I sat in Cameron's unmarked car, watching the rental van through binoculars. They'd pulled into a rest stop just outside the city limits, probably feeling safe enough to take a break. You sure you want to watch this? Cameron asked. I need to, I replied. Police vehicles silently surrounded the rest stop, lights off, strategic positions. No sirens, no warnings, just quiet, methodical justice closing in. There's something poetic about this, Lexi said from the back seat. They're probably in there planning their next move, thinking they're so clever. My phone buzzed. A video call from Talia. You're trending on legal TikTok, she announced. Someone leaked the dancing video. That would be me, Noelle's voice came through. She'd joined the call from New Zealand. Sorry, not sorry. People need to see who they really are. On cue, multiple phones in the rest stop parking lot lit up with notifications. Even from here, I could see Nicholas and Maeve through the van's windows, frantically checking their phones. They're seeing it now, I said. The video had gone viral in legal circles. Disability Fraudsters Dance Party exposed. Complete with timestamps, dates, and a helpful overlay showing Nicholas's disability claims for the same period. Look! Lexi pointed. Nicholas and Maeve were arguing in the van, gesturing wildly at their phones. Ready? Cameron asked, hand on his radio. I nodded. All units move in. It happened fast. Police vehicles switched on their lights simultaneously, flooding the rest stop with red and blue. Nicholas tried to start the van, but they'd already blocked all exits. Nicholas McCarthy and Maeve McCarthy, boomed a voice over a loudspeaker. This is the FBI. Exit the vehicle with your hands visible. Maeve came out first, already screaming about persecution and setups. Nicholas tried to run, sprinting, not limping, but made it exactly 3 steps before officers tackled him. I want my lawyer! Maeve shrieked as they cuffed her. This is harassment! My son is disabled. Your son just ran a 100-yard dash, an officer replied dryly. I stepped out of Cameron's car, walking toward them. Nicholas saw me first, his face contorting. You vindictive bitch, he spat. After everything I did for you. Everything you did to me, I corrected. And to Noelle, and Sarah, and Rachel, and all the others. His eyes widened at the names. Oh yes, I continued. They all came forward, every single one. You have nothing, Maeve cut in. We destroyed your evidence. I pulled out my phone, showing them the cloud drive. You destroyed paper copies. I'm a medical billing specialist, remember? I document everything, digitally. An officer approached with evidence bags from the van. Sir, we found multiple fake IDs, prescription pads, and... He held up a familiar object. A gun registered to the victim. That's my service weapon, I said. The one they stole from my safe. Add armed robbery and weapons charges, Cameron noted. Wait! Nicholas called, as they led him toward a police car. We can make a deal. I'll tell you everything about Maeve's operation. Shut up, you idiot! Maeve yelled. Operation? Cameron perked up. Do tell. I want immunity, Nicholas demanded. You'll get nothing, I said. The cruise tickets you bought with my emergency savings, the mortgage payments you made with my money, the prescriptions you sold, it's all documented. Maeve lunged at me suddenly, handcuffs and all. You ungrateful little... Officers pulled her back. As they pushed her into a separate car, she was still screaming about her poor disabled son. Need anything else from me? I asked Cameron. Nope. We've got enough to put them away for years, he smiled. Go home, Rhea. It's over. My phone buzzed one last time. Noelle. Thank you. We're all free now. I watched the police cars drive away, red and blue lights fading into the distance. Lexi put her arm around me. Want to get a drink? She asked. Actually, I said, I want to go dancing. The coastal breeze carried the scent of salt and seaweed as I sat on my new deck, watching waves crash against the shore. My phone buzzed with a news alert. Mother-son fraud ring sentenced. Multiple victims come forward. Stop reading that stuff, Lexi called from the kitchen. You won already. She was right. Nicholas got 15 years for fraud, theft and conspiracy. Maeve got 12. The federal investigation had uncovered 6 more victims across 3 states, each with the same story. A charming man, a controlling mother, and emptied bank accounts. My phone rang. Talia. Check your email, she said without preamble. Federal compensation just came through. They recovered most of your savings, plus damages. I opened the email. The number made me blink. That can't be right. Oh, it's right. Turns out Maeve had quite the investment portfolio, all funded with stolen money. The feds seized everything. A text from Emiliano popped up. Missing you at the hospital. The billing department's not the same without you. But that job offer at the Coastal Medical Centre still stands. I smiled, remembering his support during the investigation, the way he testified about Nicholas's job application without hesitation. Speaking of justice, Talia continued, Noelle's video hit 5 million views. The Disability Fraud Investigation Unit is swamped with tips about similar scams. Good, I said. Let them all come forward. Another text came through, from Noelle herself. moving back to the States next month. Coffee soon? The screen door slid open. Lexi emerged with 2 glasses of wine. Real wine this time, she said. Not the stuff Maeve stole. I took a sip, remembering that night I'd watched them dance through the window. You know what's funny? I actually have to thank them. Thank them? For what? And for teaching me to pay attention, to document everything, to trust my instincts. I showed her Emiliano's text. And maybe for helping me find where I really belong. By the ocean? Far from lying husbands and psychotic mother-in-laws? By the ocean, running a billing department that catches fraud before it ruins lives. My phone buzzed again. Cameron. Just interviewed another victim. Same MO, different state. Your case broke it wide open. Thank you. Lexi read over my shoulder. You know, when I tried to warn you about Nicholas before the wedding, I never imagined it would end like this. With him in prison and me living by the sea. With you helping other women find their voice, their strength. I pulled out a small flask, the one that used to hold my emergency courage during those endless dinners with Maeve and Nicholas. Want to know a secret? I unscrewed the cap. It was always filled with water. Every time they thought they were wearing me down with their wine and their lies, I was staying clear-headed, watching, waiting. To karma. Lexi raised her glass. To karma, I agreed. And to paying attention. My laptop pinged. An email from the Coastal Medical Centre accepting my application for Head of Billing, Compliance and Fraud Prevention. Does this mean you're staying? Lexi asked. By the ocean? Yeah. I looked out at the waves. I like it here. Everything's clear. No fog, no lies, no pretense. And Emiliano's here. I smiled but didn't respond. Some things needed time to unfold naturally without pressure or performance. I'd learned that lesson well. A final text lit up my phone from an unknown number. I'm one of Nicholas's victims from 10 years ago. Thank you for stopping them. We're having a support group meeting next week. Would you come speak? I typed back, yes, because karma doesn't just happen. Sometimes we have to help it along. The sun was setting now, painting the water in shades of gold and pink. In my hand, the flask caught the light, reminding me of all those nights I pretended to drink while staying alert, gathering evidence, building my case piece by piece. I stood up, walked to the edge of the deck and hurled the flask into the ocean. Bon voyage, Maeve, I whispered, watching it disappear beneath the waves. Behind me, Lexi started playing music, a salsa beat. I turned, laughing. Really? Come on, she grinned. Let's dance, for real this time. So I did, under the open sky, with the sound of waves keeping time.